No one ever sees me. I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me. I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me. I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me? I'm losing every battle.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Brand Momentum Morning Show. This is Faith James. I'm your host and CEO, founder of the Personal Branding Consultancy. This morning, as we have been doing for all of October, we are reading from Michael Strassner's book, Mastering Leadership, Shift the Drift and Change the World. It's an amazing book, and I don't know if you had the opportunity to catch us live last Monday when Michael was actually here, and he broke down all 12 of the distinctions. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch the replay. It's definitely not to be missed. So today I'm actually going to be digging into distinction number 6, which is risk-taking, shameless courage. So come on in, say hi. Good morning, my beautiful, beautiful Brenda from Florence. How is it there? I can't wait for you to get back. Good morning, Brenda, beautiful. All my Brendas are in the house. I love it. How are you, gorgeous? So we're talking about risk-taking, and I want you to think about this in the context of your personal life as well as your professional life. So risk-taking can take on so many energy, so many emotion, so many sort of like feelings that we bring to it. But if you really think about it in the context of how this can be beneficial, my intention is that you're going to walk away this morning with some new ways of being, some new thinking. Good morning, beautiful Karen. How are you? So let's read. Distinction number 6, risk-taking, shameless courage. So this is the definition, the traditional definition. Risk-taking, the act of exposing one's self to the chance of injury or loss, a hazard or dangerous chance. So you see already, it's got so many negative connotations attached to it. Here is the master leader's definition of risk-taking. The act of being bold, daring, and vulnerable. To take a stand for something that is uncomfortable and matters, regardless of fear, history, or evidence to the contrary. Isn't that such a difference? Because the risk-taking that I want you to think about today is absolutely about being bold, about being courageous, not necessarily reckless, but also not stymied or stifled or paralyzed by fear. Because what Michael talked about last week is when you think about fear, you're not fearful of the unknown. We're fearful that whatever happened before will happen again. And then you're in stories, and then you're in your own meaning makings. But if you just keep going forward with the idea that I get to be bold, right, and courageous, and also vulnerable, because guess what? Yeah, we don't know. what could happen. So master leaders are risk takers. Risking is woven into the fabric of every significant vision throughout history. It requires the ability to transcend fear and operate at full capacity without having any answers or guarantees toward the result. For leaders, risking is being vulnerable to their vision and commitment, which exposes them to criticism, disapproval, and even failure. Although fear is a pervasive and powerful motivator, leaders are completely willing to give up their comfort zones and face their fears head on. Their relationship with fear is unique because leaders use their own fear as motivation, challenge, and most of all, opportunity. They see value in taking risks and experiencing the emotions that go with risking because they understand to achieve truly extraordinary visions, one must go where no one else has gone before. Think about that. Good morning, beautiful. To go where no one's gone before. Where have you heard that saying before, right? I've talked about the moon landing example countless times on the show. It bears repeating. Before man landed on the moon, there were no men on the moon. Good morning, gorgeous. How are you, my love? Right? Before a man was on the moon, there was no man on the moon. And so if the president, if the NASA team let fear of the unknown, the fear of the perceived unknown be the ruler, where would space innovation be right now? Nowhere. So apply that to your life. So funny that Marcella just hopped on. Marcella, when she moved first to Florida, knew 3 people. Maybe 2, Marcella. Knew 3 people, 2 people. That's it. And has proceeded to become what I like to coin, right? The mayor of South Florida, because she's 3, okay? She's now so well connected, so influential, so powerful in her ways of being. Now, if she had led the fact that, oh my goodness, I can't move to a new city, new town, I only know 3 people, what am I going to do? There's no way. I don't have any friends. I have no connections. I'm going to fall flat on my face. She would have never moved. So just think about how you can apply that to your daily life. Look around and audit. Where have you let the fear of the unknown? Where have you let the perceived fear of failure stop you from taking a chance, from taking a risk? Because here's a simple thing that I do, and I want to give this to you. Whenever I'm making a decision about anything, whether it's personal or business, I run the kind of like what if scenarios in my head. And when I run all the possible scenarios, so for example, you're looking to build your brand. Let's just use that as an example. Okay, it's $50,000 to have a one-on-one session for 6 months. Run the scenarios like, okay, so then if I do that, if I spend that money, then I'm going to be not able to invest in other things. And then if I can't invest in other things, then maybe I'm going to, not be able to go out and eat dinner. And if you run the scenarios all the way to the end, if you do not end up homeless under a bridge, then you go forward. This is what I do, because even in the scenarios where I go, oh my gosh, that's like so much money to invest. Here's the thing. If I get to move back home with my mother, which, oh, by the way, authenticity, transparency, I have done as an adult before, then I get to do that. At no point in any scenario where my money runs dry am I under a bridge. So I know I have options right? If it comes down to that. And so with that knowing, I move forward. I have friends who I can sleep on their couch if it ever came to that. So a lot of times we let fear, we want to stay in the comfort zone because my goodness, how comfortable is it to like move home and live in your your niece's bedroom with your mother, right? Not that super comfortable. But because I was so committed AF to my vision of where I get to be, then that's what I did. Yeah, absolutely. Marcella says, yeah, fear can paralyze you and you just have to decide, I'm not going to let it. You know, one of the mantras, I will not be denied my success. So risk taking is not a challenge for me. Let's read on. After 32 years in this work, this is now Michael saying, what I know is that the world is full of wonderful people, good people, great people, amazing people. The world is full of people who want permission to let others into their lives, who want to open their hearts, who want to be connected, who want to come out and play, who want to be their authentic selves. And A, they don't know how. B, they're in fear. Or C, they're waiting for permission. What it takes to cut through the fear, invite others in, and interrupt the drift is commitment to risk-taking and shameless courage. In the context of risk and master leadership, leaders don't wait for permission. They don't wait for someone else to give them power. Leaders don't procrastinate. Leaders don't wait for someone to notice them. Leaders don't suffer in scarcity, disconnection, loneliness, sadness, and emptiness, merely existing and settling for a mediocre experience of living. Leaders find within themselves the courage to find their voice and use that voice to stand up and shamelessly commit to their vision. So like when I was just launching my business in year 1 and year 2, and you know, like I like to say, if you don't kill it, you don't eat, because there's no every 2 weeks paycheck coming in. And I can't tell you how many times I would hear, Faith, when are you going to get a real job? Are you going to get a real job? Update your resume. You're going to get a real job. And right, I was shamelessly committed to my vision. So I had to draw the line and tell, you know, family, friends, whomever, no, this is what I'm doing. This is my path. And though it may be rocky at times, though it was sort of uncertain at times, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. You're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. You're not building your condo in the valley of the shadow of death. So it's just but for a time, this too shall pass. Risk-taking is taking a stand in the face of all evidence against it. Oh, you can never do that. You're going to be what? You're going to teach yoga online? Like there's free yoga on YouTube. Like that's not going to work. You're going to style people like nobody, there's like so many, you know, freestyling things online. Like that's not going to work. Risk-taking is taking a stand in the face against all evidence, taking a stand in the face of no evidence to support it, taking a stand without a net where they may or may not be support for them. Risk-taking is taking a stand anyway because your vision and your commitment to that vision propels you to do whatever it takes, and what it takes is courage. What it takes is courage. Okay, so you launch an event and it flops. Okay. Are you going to die? No. I've told this story countless times as well. When I launched my very first branding event, when I was just getting into becoming the CEO of me, and I had 30, 40, 50, something like that, people at a country club and spent all kinds of money putting it on. You know me, how I am, very zhuzh, very posh. And then I made an offer. One person, only one person bought a package for $297. Did you hear what I said? I spent thousands of dollars, time, energy. This is now, I'm doing this as a side hustle because I still was in my corporate marketing job at the time. I put on an event. I sold one package for $297. But my commitment, my unwavering, my unshaking commitment to my vision said, keep going. You know that line from Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey's character says to the girl, what are my chances? Because he's trying to date her. What are my chances? And she's like, not good. And he's like what? 1 in 100? And she was like, no, more like 1 in a million. And he says to her, so you're saying there's a chance? Because he chose to focus on that one. He didn't care about that million odds that she would say absolutely not. He focused on that one. And that's what I did. One person bought something. So there's a kernel of good here. So then I retooled, came out with a group package, $2,500, like 20 people bought it next year. So you think about going from selling only one thing for $297 to next year selling 20 packages for $2,500. It is the commitment to your vision. It is the intention. We know we get fully trained in leadership. It's all about intention. It's 100% intention, 0% mechanism. However the mechanism happens, it happens. But what is your intention? Is your intention that this is the life that you get to lead? Is it your intention that you get to be a published author? Is it your intention that you get to be a teacher of special education across the globe? What is your intention? Starts with your vision. If you don't have your vision statement, if you don't have a vision that's propelling you, that's serving as the filter for everything that you do, then you're just loitering through the universe. Just loitering. Yes, we are committed AF. So what it takes is shameless commitment, meaning it matters more to cause the vision, to create what's possible for yourself and the world than it is for you to get approval or permission or settle for being right about that's the way it's always been. The drift is risk averse. So living in the drift where everybody's in their comfort zone, nobody wants to take a chance. You're going to do what? You're going to travel to Europe by yourself. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Did you hear last year about, right? Risk averse. Taking a stand requires leaders to transcend fear and to leap toward courage. I pulled something from scripture and I wanted to just illustrate this point. So there's a story in the Bible where, the Israelites were at war with the Arameans, and there was drought on the land. I mean, the entire region was starving. People are dying, just no food, etc. And so there were these 4 men who had leprosy, and they were just like waiting out at the kingdom gate, like begging for food, looking. They were like for sure death happening for them. And one said, well, if we stay here, we're for sure gonna die. What if we take a chance, a risk, and go over into the Arameans' camp? Maybe they'll have sympathy on us and take us in and we'll get food, but maybe they'll kill us, but we're gonna die here anyway. So let's take a chance. So here's what it says. It says, now there were 4 men with leprosy at the entrance of the city gate. They said to each other, why stay here until we die? If we say we'll go into the city, the famine is there and we will die. If we stay here, we will die. So let's go over to the camp of the Arameans and surrender. If they spare us, we'll live. If they kill us, then we die. At dusk, they got up and went to the camp of the Arameans. When they reached the edge of the camp, not a man was there. For the Lord had caused the Arameans to hear the sound of chariots and horses and a great army. So they said to one another, look, the king of Israel has hired the Hittites and the Egyptian kings to attack us. So they got up and fled in the dusk and abandoned their tents and their horses and their donkeys. They left the camp as if and ran for their lives. The men who had leprosy reached the edge of the camp and entered one of the tents. They ate and drank and carried away silver, gold, clothes, and went off and hid them. They returned and entered another tent and took some more things from it and hid them also. And they said, what we're doing isn't right. And then the story goes on. They say, we have to tell the rest of the Israelites. So just think about that. What situation are you in right now? If you're looking at it and you're like, this is not going well for me. This is not my intention. This is not my vision. But because you are unwilling to take a risk, that's right, Brenda knows, hashtag take a risk. Because you are unwilling to take a risk, you are sitting and suffering and watching your life, your potential, your path, your purpose disintegrate because you're not willing to take a risk. So my invitation for you today is to be like these men, these 4 men with leprosy who knew they were going to die. Either way, they were going to die. The famine, they go over to the camp, they're going to get killed. What are you looking at right now in your life, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your professional relationships, that you know, this is not it. This is not working out. You know, like, you know, this isn't just a quick rash decision, right? You've studied this, you've gone into your feelings and you know, this is not the way I get to live. So you know that, like, you know that. Be like the 4 men, take a chance, go over into what they called enemy camp, because God is just waiting to create a miracle in your life. He caused the entire enemy camp, the Arameans, to hear 4 men walking to sound like the full army of the Hittites and the full army of the Egyptians coming to attack them. These are what we're talking about, quantum leaps, miracles that you can't even fathom, but are just waiting out there. There is nothing impossible for God, for those who believe. So you get to really stand in your knowing that you're fearfully, you're wonderfully made. You were created for beautiful, magical things. You are created in the likeness of God. You are a beautiful creation intended to do amazing things, but yet you sit and stew and simmer and saute yourself in a mediocre life, in a mediocre existence, in a mediocre business. Why? What are we afraid of? What are you resisting? Take a chance with the understanding that there's no guarantee. So you could launch a new sales funnel and it could be crickets. Nobody buys anything. And you could launch a new sales funnel and 20 people buy your thing. But if you know that you continue to stay where you are and nothing's going to happen, then what are you choosing? Take a risk. Sometimes we want all the answers. Martin Luther King Jr. says, just keep climbing, keep going up one step at a time. The staircase will be made manifest unto you. Don't wait until you can see, oh, it's like a full spiral staircase. I see it. Now I'm going to go. No, you see a step, take it. You see a step, take it. You don't know where the step is going. You don't know where the staircase even is, where it's leading. But you know, what you do know is that if you stay here, if you continue to sit, simmer, stew, saute in where you are right now, nothing different is going to happen. And then we wonder, this isn't working. This isn't working out for me. I'm not. Well, audit yourself. What are you doing? You look at the great leaders in life. They don't come from comfort zone existence. They don't come from easy path existence, right? They come from going through the valley of the shadow of death with the knowing that they fear no evil, because their vision bigger. I mean, what if Martin Luther King Jr. said, no, this gets to be easier. You can't do this. Oh, they're going to shoot at me. They're going to burn my house. They're going to torch people. No, we're not. Where would we be? Greatness is not always on an easy path. Greatness doesn't always get activated by the easy button. I know sometimes we're like, this gets to be easy, and sometimes it does, but you also have to be prepared in your knowing that even if it does get hard, I have my great helper who's going to show me the way, even when I don't see the way, because he's got the way. So be willing to take risks. Be willing to get uncomfortable. Be willing to just say, all right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I love that. Lisa says, so many times in life, we could potentially ignore an amazing opportunity orchestrated by God if we don't move. Yeah, listen, don't ask God to direct your steps if you're not willing to move your feet. Yes, I said what I said. Yes, step out of the comfort zone and have faith with each step. I have to remind myself of that we don't have it all figured out, because here's the thing, guys. Think about this. Right now, we are living on a planet that is circling through the Milky Way galaxy on an axis, defying gravitational pull among trillions and trillions and billions and trillions of other galaxies. Do we know how that works? Do we know how that? But yet we wake up, we go about our business, no concern for, oh my gosh, I wonder what the gravitational pull on the earth is going to be today. And the sun, let's talk about the sun. The sun that everything rotates around never once goes, okay, here comes a bright Monday morning. I'm going to scorch these fools to death today. We're not concerned about that. Oh my gosh, the sun, are we going to die today? Right? We just have the acceptance and the knowing that God's already got that figured out. So why don't we have the acceptance and the knowing that he's got these other things figured out? Like, no, we have to worry about these things. We have to guard these things. But the big thing, our total existence on a planet that's spiraling through space on an axis, the sun that can disintegrate us in a second. Well, that's all sorted out. But these things now I'm going to worry. Oh, should I go on that podcast? I don't know. I don't know what's the audience and how many times do they listen? Go on the podcast. Nobody listens. Great. You get another opportunity to hone your skills of being a guest. You get your opportunity to hone your ability to answer quick questions direct and to the point. Yes. Be an opportunity seeker instead of an obstacle seer. Amen and amen. Seek the opportunity. Don't see the obstacle. Love that, Karen. Big contribution today. Love that. So just go for it. I tell you this story in my book, and many of you may be new to the show. To me, if you don't have Ladies Power Up Your Brand, go grab that as well. I tell the story in the book. We're talking about taking a chance and being bold. And I was so committed to my vision of getting into the advertising world that my thought was I just need to get my heel in a door somewhere. So I'm walking on Madison Avenue, because this is where I was in New York City. And my friend and colleague, Annette, who was also in the same communications track with me, we bumped into each other and we're chit-chatting. And she was telling me she's got this great internship at Channel 47 Noticias. And it's like, that's fantastic. And of course, being a Latina, it's perfectly suited for her. That was like a great in for her. She said, but I already took this other internship at Ogilvy. Do you want it? True story. I said, yes. Be the opportunity seeker. I didn't go, well, who would I even talk to? Like, you already took it. Like, how is that going to even work? I asked her not one question other than, who am I reporting to? So I want you to see this. We're talking about like shameless courage. So Monday morning, I put out my best professional, outfit. I show up at One Worldwide Plaza, which is a headquarters for Ogilvy and Mather, the biggest, baddest global advertising agency on the planet. And I go to security and I say, I'm here to see Donna Landau, that she was the managing director. And she comes. These are my exact words. Hi, I'm Faith. Annette is not going to make it, but I'm here. People, can you feel the shameless, the shame? Like, what? Like, who does that? But when you're committed AF to your vision, my vision was I get to be a top executive in this white male dominated advertising world. Vision, committed AF. She looked at me like I was literally from another planet, because I'm sure she's thinking like, who is this chick? I go in, I sit down, she takes my resume, asks me questions, I get the gig. Now, part 2. At this point, I'm working at Mitsubishi Textiles in the daytime while I go to college, in the evening. This is how I paid my rent. But Mitsubishi Textiles ain't got nothing to do with what I'm trying to do with a vision. That was just a pragmatic strategic move to get money while I was in college. I quit my job, my paying job, as we would say in Jamaica, my good job. I quit my paying job at Mitsubishi Textiles to go take a 7-week internship at Ogilvy and Mather. Shameless courage. Because I just knew, right? This is where you have to know, like you know whose you are. I was like, I just need to get my heel in this door, because once I get in, I'm going to do what God has anointed me to do. I was not fearful. I was not concerned, because guess what? I tell you, I run my what if. Okay, so what if? So I quit my job. Now I have no money coming in. I take this gig. It's 7 weeks and they're like, okay, thank you. Then what? Guess what? I have friends' couches that I can sleep on. I can go back and live with my mom. I have options, though they may not be comfortable, because sometimes this is when you're really going for something, you have to take that comfort out of it. Yeah, you're going to get a little uncomfortable. And the end of the 7 week, and they were like, oh, Faith, please don't go. Thus began my career at Ogilvy and Mather on the IBM account. So, shameless courage, risk taking, go for it. I could have said, oh no, I need a guarantee. I need a guarantee that this thing is 7 weeks or more. I can't quit my job. That's how I pay my rent. I can't quit for film internship. The best decision I have made in life, on a risk, on a boldness, on an audacity. Who do you think you are? Who do you two think you are, brokering your own advertising business deal on Madison Avenue and showing up to the people's place, talking about Annette's not going to be here? Shameless courage. So I want you to think about, for you, hey, beautiful, how are you? I'm so excited to see you here. And yes, thank you again for that beautiful video. I want you to think about this week, where can you demonstrate some real shameless courage in your life? Think about it. So think of something that you either had an opportunity to do and you immediately said no, or you shied away from it because it didn't fit for whatever reason, or you thought about it and it immediately gave you fear. Hey, LaTanja, beautiful. How are you, gorgeous? I want you, so it could be in your personal life, but it could also be in your business life. I want you to go for it and do it. I want you to go for it and do it. What are you resisting? And do it. And this is not, I'm not going to get into coaching with you on what's underneath it. And I don't care what's underneath it. We don't have time for that. I want you to identify something that you would think, oh my gosh, I would never do that, and do it. Because I could have said with that Ogilvy scenario, I could have gone into stories and reasons and made some shit up like, oh my gosh, well, they're going to think like, who's this little Black Island girl walking into One Worldwide Plaza talking about she must come work at Ogilvy and Mather, and nobody's seen her a day in their life. Nobody knows her. Nobody interviewed her. Nobody cleared her. But we know from leadership, leaders go and stand under the sign where it says, don't stand here. So I didn't care that I didn't interview for this position. I didn't care that nobody at Worldwide Plaza knew me. I didn't care that I didn't talk to the hiring manager at Ogilvy. I just showed up. And it's not going to make it, but I'm here. Be that, do that. Be that and do that. Because what's the risk? Oh, somebody's going to say, oh my gosh, she's always talking about herself. Guess what? I'm still here. I didn't die. I'm still standing. Right? You're going to live. Doesn't matter. So one of the things I said to my power team, and Lisa, who is in my power team, knows that, when we talk about prices you're willing to pay. And I said, don't let that just be words that you rattle off so you can get on to the next thing. Really presence yourself to what are the prices I'm willing to pay to be as committed AF to my vision, to have what Michael's talking about here, this shameless, let me get the exact wording, this shameless courage. What am I willing to pay? So, some of the things we'll say, prices I'm willing to pay to be judged, not liked. But you have to really mean that. You have to really mean that when someone says, oh, gee, look at her. She thinks she's so bougie. Wearing like always having like 10 different glasses for every outfit. So I said, what's the last line from Gone with the Wind? This is because we get to activate it in your body. Don't just say it like, yeah, prices I'm willing to pay, not be like, judge, get it wrong, messy. Okay. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And we would literally hoot and holler and say that in our power group. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Oh, you think I'm charging too much? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And speaking of charging too much, the November workshop for Branding Over Brunch, we're going to be talking about how to price your programs. This is going to be really, amazing. So stay tuned for information on that. And we're also going to be doing some LinkedIn profile development. So stay tuned for that. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. You wear too much makeup. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Your style is too avant-garde. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Because I am in relentless pursuit. I am in shameless courage to my vision. Oh my God, I love this. Momentum Crew is just on it. Yeah, Karen's like, shameless promotion. Yeah. And absolutely, they stand for the other vision in the pants. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I don't know who this is, but clearly Momentum Crew, somebody who's been here for a while. Do you have a check for me? Is the other phrase. Do you have a check for me? Who cares if we have a purse, glasses to go with everything? Next. Right? Next. Our hashtag for the show, hashtag be unbothered. Because the people are going to talk. I'm going to tell you a really good story that's going to bring this home for you. And then you're going to get your assignment. So imagine a donkey, a grandpa, and his grandson. So the grandpa is on the donkey and the little grandson's there, and they're walking along, chirping. They're journeying on to someplace unknown, and they're having a good time, and they're talking and talking and talking and talking. And they come up on a group of people. How could you? You are doing too much, Grandpa. You have lived your life long and enjoyed it. And it is hot out here. And you have your little grandson walking while you luxuriate on the top of the donkey as if you think you are some king. Shame, shame, shame. The grandpa flies off the donkey in horror. Never his intention. He loves his little grandson. So he puts his little grandson on the donkey, and then he starts to walk alongside. And now they're still talking. It's like, wow, that was some experience, but I'm so grateful we're here together. They're journeying. They come upon a group of another people. This is the problem. This is exactly the problem with today's youth. Look at you, you entitled little wretch. Your granddad has done so much for you. He has worked hard and long and toiled to give you a good education. And now you're out here and look, the sun is hot as hell. And you have the audacity to be luxuriating on top of the donkey and have your grandpa walking. He is tired. His bones are brittle. Shame, shame, shame. The grandson is crying now. He's like, oh my gosh, grandpa, I love you. And he's like, no, I get it. I love you. So the grandpa gets on top of the donkey with the grandson. So now they're both on the donkey. Now they're journeying on. Can't wait to get to our destination. This is going to be good when we get there and see all of our family. They come upon another group of people. You are what is wrong with the world today, the both of you. This donkey is under duress, under pressure, labor. Did you even feed it today? Did you give it any hay? And look at the sun. It's hot as hell. Did you give it water? Shame, shame, shame. The moral of the story, you can't please everybody. So don't even try. Somebody is going to have something to say about something that you do. Period, done, end of story. So the amount of time and energy that you're going to take to try to please people and worry about what people are going to say, and is that the right thing? Is this the right look? Forget it. Be so committed to your vision. Listen, as long as you are doing no harm, like I take like the doctor's oath, right? Do no harm. As long as you are doing no harm to anyone, you keep going, you keep doing, you find your path, your journey, you go, you go, you go. So whether it's in personal, or whether it's in your professional life, whether it's, let's just even say, there's an influencer. Exactly. Just spread the love. Exactly. Whether it's an influencer that you have followed, that you have read a book recently, you've watched listened to a podcast, whatever it might be. I want you to find their information or connect with them on LinkedIn and email them and tell them how great their work is and what it's meant to you. That's one thing that you could do. There's a client that you have done work with and you would like to introduce them to a new program. Pick up the phone, call them. Right? These are things when I'm saying that you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. What are they going to think? They're going to think I'm desperate. See, these are the things that hold you back. Because then if you're worried that people are going to look at you like you're desperate, you're not committed AF to your vision. Because if Martin Luther King worried about what the people in the streets would say when he was marching and what he was doing, right? It would be a different world today. So you have to be that committed. You have to be that committed. It doesn't happen any other way. Risk taking, take a risk, take a chance. What's the worst that would happen? Somebody says no, and you thank them for their time and you thank them for their quick response, and you keep moving. Any questions? Because I get to wrap. Yes, ma'am. That would be the stretch. This is the risk and bold courage stretch. Whatever you think, oh my gosh, I could never do that. You get to do it. So if you're not in the Savvy Branders tribe, go find it on Facebook. This is where we're going to continue the conversation. Do the thing that has been a challenge, a hindrance, a fear, or whatever that you're like, oh my God, I've thought about this, but I've never wanted to do. I just want you to go do it. Know that you will still be living and breathing at the end of it. And don't be worried about if people say, oh, she's so desperate. Oh my gosh, like wasting my time. You're not going to die. All right. Momentum crew, love you. Exactly, Karen. The no's just mean the yeses are on the way. And here's the thing, the no's don't hurt. but we give them meaning, but it means nothing. Like we make up stuff. This is what we know, right? We're meaning makers. So we make up stuff and it means nothing. Hi, would you like me to deliver 25 bouquets to your hotel for the next? No, thank you. We're not in the market. Okay, great. Thank you so much. If that ever changes, here's my information. I'd love you to keep me in mind. Next. Let's see. Okay, here I will put it in the, yeah, I can do that. Amy, hold on. This is what it looks like. Just go search it. Savvy Branders Tribe. That's our free but private group where we hang out and we do all things branding. So love you guys. Yes, Marcelo says it's just no, not now. All right, I love you guys so much. I get to run. Be well, take care, be so bold, be so brazen, be so audacious. Remember, hashtag be unbothered, and I love you. Take care.
No one ever sees me,